Okay, so let's look at example number 2, function problem with no return. And let's first look at the first line, initialize the variable number to a randomly generated whole number less than the number 20. Okay, so let's set up our variable. Var number is equal to, since it wants us to generate a random number, and we have to make sure it is a whole number. So first, let's set up a random number. So math.random is a method which pretty much just grabs and generates random numbers, and we're going to specify it to be less than the number 20. But because we want it to be a whole number, if we just leave it like this, it's going to generate like decimal numbers and stuff, which we do not want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around a math.floor, so it just makes sure the number is a whole number. And we're going to add a function that calls the random number, and it is a digit. So it says right here, set up a function random number that takes one parameter called digit, which is what we've set up here. And in the function, console log out the sentence. So we are going to set up a sentence console.log, and I'm going to use backticks. So backticks, and the number that was generated was the number and it should tell us what random number was generated. And what I want to do is I want to call this function because nothing's calling it right now. So I'll say random number, and it is the number we're passing, because we have to make sure we pass over this number from whatever random number was stored inside this variable. And we're going to grab this number that's stored here in this variable, and we're going to pass it over to this function called random number. Random number is right here, and it's going to console log out the number that was generated was the number and whatever it is right there. And one more thing we have to do is set up the functional comments. So right above the function, always do it right above, and do the /**, hit enter, and you can see it automatically generates the @param for you. I'm going to first add an @description above it, and it'll say a random number generated. It's just describing what this function will do. So actually it's going to tell us what random number was given. And then in the parameter I'll say just a number. And that's perfect because we don't have any @returns. All we need is a @param and @description. The @param just refers to digit, and it's going to console log this sentence out. So let's try to run this in our terminal. And right here we can see the number that was generated was the number 17. So it does work. If I try to run it again, now it's number 11. So because it's generating a random number each time, we're always going to get different numbers every time we run it. Sometimes it might be the same, but it's just depending whatever was drawn.